What's going on, everybody? It is your host, Dr. Splash, and today I am bringing to you what I am hoping all of you will consider to be the best spawn scaling video on YouTube. My intentions behind this is for you to come away from this video afterwards having a complete understanding of Spawn, how strong he is, and what he is capable of, as well as how strong cosmology is in general, so that you come away fully equipped to talk about him as a character when these discussions pop up. And even if you've never read him before, if I do this video well enough and present it in a good enough way, you should be able to still feel like you completely understand the character. So that's the primary goal. Shout out to everyone that helped make this video possible, including my boy Whitefang for sponsoring this. And if you guys love Spawn and you want to see all of his feats, statements, all the evidence behind him, every appearance that matters in the conversation, essentially, you can actually just go ahead, hit me up on Discord, talk business. I have a server with literally every Spawn appearance in it, so hit me up. But back on topic, this is how we're going to structure this definitive scaling video, the first in our series. We are going to first introduce the cosmology. I will briefly give an overview of how it works so you understand how everything roughly scales within the verse. And then we're going to get into his best feats and capabilities, and then his statements, and then conclude the video. So I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys are excited. 300 plus likes would be amazing. This is a little bit of a longer intro because it's the first video in the series. I just kind of have to lay it out for you, you know? But I'm excited for this, and if you're one of those people that likes to timestamp when I do the cosmology, feats, and statements, comment it in the comment section, and I will pin it for helping contribute to the video. But without further ado, let's get into it. Now, first up, we're going to talk about the cosmology. And the first part to address is reality. Now, reality can be scaled to either multiversal or potentially outer. Now, first, let's talk about the multiversal aspect, which is a lot safer. It has several layers to reality, as well as all concepts of time exist within this multiverse that is the Spawn cosmology. Now, if you want to get it to outer, you can get it to outer by arguing purgatory is within reality, which contains the realm of comic ideas. Essentially, in issue 10 of Spawn, purgatory turned out to be the place characters go when their rights are sold or taken from the creators. This can be interpreted as the realm of ideas and origins for all comics. Later in Spawn, it is stated this was not a dream and rather another layer of reality. So if you take that literal to mean this purgatory is just another layer of reality within the general reality of the cosmology, it obviously takes it to outer. If you think purgatory is another layer beyond regular reality, then you ignore it. Regardless, it's at least multiversal for obvious reasons, so you have a general idea of how the general multiverse scales for Spawn, but there's layers above that, right? And let's get into the overlap, which to me concretely is at least outerversal. It is confirmed beyond all description, time, space, or bounds of physics or natures or laws of any sort. This is the birthplace of magic and extra-dimensional in nature. Spawn issue 19 really covered this and broke it down, and this is very important because that's early in Spawn, and the cosmology isn't presented in chronological order or the order of the layers within the verse. So you kind of got to piece it all together. But the overlap existing and being that powerful in nature makes that aspect of the cosmology bare minimum to outerversal. So if we didn't give it to reality to be that level, we'd hit it at this point. Okay, so mark that down if you're big on outerversal. When you know anything that scales to the overlap and above, outer. We then have heaven and hell, which is mid to high outer. Now, it's important to note that we're going to scale them kind of together because in Spawn issue 26, heaven is stated to be just as layered as hell is. So while, yes, both have different descriptions, different layers within them, they're stated to generally layer about the same. Hell is beyond all forms of description, thoughts, ideas, or concepts. This particular descriptor of how powerful and how wildly beyond our imagination hell is was given to us in Spawn 2000 issue 100, in case you would like to go back and check that out. But that's very important, because if it's beyond all forms of description, thoughts, ideas, and concepts, even stuff like Platonism, all that, that's absurd, and we know heaven's just as layered as that. But heaven and hell are not the final layers. Even though they're out at a high outer, they're not the final layers. Beyond, and make sure you're noting this, beyond this is the green world, which is high outer to boundless range. This is a realm beyond heaven, hell, God, and Satan, the realm of the true creator. For clarification on what the green world was, the best place to go, Spawn 1998, issue 75. Green world is beyond heaven and hell's reach. Spawn's powers are negated within the green world, and agents of heaven and hell can't detect Spawn at all. Of course, when he goes on to fuck with God and Satan, it was because of power he was given to realms like this. So green world is even stronger and resides beyond even heaven and hell, which we were discussing. So that concludes the cosmology aspect of Spawn. And now that we have that hammered down, and you guys have an idea of where the cosmology scales to when we start talking about agents of hell, agents of heaven, and you know how strong that is inherently, we can move on to best feats and statements. Now, for feats and statements, I won't be taking everything, because in context of what we're trying to do here, we're taking Spawn at his higher ends and best feats and what he's best capable of. So some of the little things he does, we're kind of going to just discard for the sake of time, and the fact that they don't really help his argument in the grand scaling sense. So with that in mind, let's get into it. Spawn 1993, issue 7. Spawn uses teleportation, which works on a molecular level, and isn't exactly instant as it's stated to travel faster than light. So, it doesn't give that descriptor right away of the automatic or instant, but rather it's just confirmed FTL. But we do see an improvement upon this molecular transportation and teleportation later. Spawn 1993, issue 9. Spawn takes the best Angela, an experienced Hellspawn hunter, can give, and makes her run. It seems his cape also has a dimension in it, but not long after his victory, he makes a mistake of touching her lance and gets hit with a BFR. But by issue 9, he was already scrapping with agents of heaven who take down Hellspawn, and we explained how even the lowest layers of hell and heaven are beyond all concepts of time and space. So this is incredibly impressive, even early on for him. Next, Spawn 1994, issue 18. Spawn destroys a town formed of psychoplasm. This is the same substance hell is made of, and compresses the best part of it, his favorite memory, down into a spark of energy and gives it to Wanda, his ex-wife. Now this is incredibly impressive, because this is the material from hell itself that composes hell. So to body a town worth of that is absurd. Spawn 1994, issue 25. Spawn fights with his suit fluently, even though the suit is confirmed to have a mind of its own. He uses his military experience to use the battlefield to his advantage, and I feel this best showcases how both intelligent he and his suit is, and the fact that they have a unique bond in that they can fight the same time doing the same shit, or they can split up and do their own thing. It's really beautiful to see. It makes them incredibly dangerous. Spawn 1995, issue 27. Spawn is tired of his friends dying, and using some of his latent powers, he shows he is able to revive his dead friend, showing domain over life and death. Spawn 1995, issue 31. The anti-Spawn beats him down, and with pre-existing injuries from other battles, he and the other die and come back to life, evolved and stronger. Now this is insane, because him and his suit doing that shows he has both adaptability and resurrection pretty early on. Spawn 1995, issue 32. Spawn's new suit, even though it isn't at full power, was able to beat up the new anti-Spawn, and this battle happened right in front of God himself. Spawn at this point is so strong that when he makes contact with God and his suit is forced to shut off, he still takes a blast of holy fire from anti-Spawn, beings created from heaven itself, who literally erase and destroy beings from hell. This is multiversal shit early. I don't get how people downplay Spawn. Sorry, I just have to rant a little bit right there. Spawn 1996, issue 41. The suit can attack enemies on its own and even defeat them while reconstructing its host Spawn. So even while regenning, he's being protected by the suit, which is incredibly broken. Spawn 1996, issue 43. Spawn feeds off of evil, drawing the evil from every creature that answer his call, making him technically limitless depending on the emotions in the region around him. Spawn 1996, issue 45. Spawn's suit is evolving and growing from every traumatic experience, almost like it's a Dragon Ball Zenkai boost. It's at this rate almost hopeless unless Spawn learns to master it, but every time he sleeps, the suit grows more powerful. It pretty much, at all times, is multiplying in power. Spawn 1996, issue 50. After Spawn's second death, his soul obliterated all concepts of time and broke into hell itself, which is an absurd feat to passively do. Spawn 96, issue 50 again. Spawn takes place in a battle where he's facing creatures that are both everywhere and nowhere in hell, experiencing and releasing horrors beyond anything that the human mind can possibly understand or dictate with logic. Spawn 1996, issue 51. Spawn takes the sins and evil of all of humanity. History of sins and evil have molded hell into what it is, and Spawn is feeling that all at once and still manages to survive it. Spawn 1996, issue 53. Easily, Spawn was able to defeat Hellspawn Kincaid in Hell, where logic doesn't exactly follow as it would in the normal world. So even when subjected to new layers that are beyond logic and aren't dictated by anything he would know, he can still easily dominate there. Spawn 1997, issue 60. Spawn was able to give Violator's soul an acid bath, which is incredibly impressive considering this is the soul of a Hellspawn itself. Spawn 1998, issue 68. Spawn was decapitated within Heaven's domain, which negates the powers of anything from hell. But once his body is dropped outside of that heavenly threshold, he reanimates once again. Beheading him isn't enough even when he's weakened or depowered. Spawn 2000, issue 100. Malebolgia falls at the hands of Spawn. Angela provided help but ultimately died before he was killed. Thus, we can give a lot of credence and credit of killing this Hell Lord to Spawn himself. We then see later, in Spawn 2001, issue 104, Spawn deal with kids that are under the influence and possession of Urizen. Spawn removes that influence and crushes it in his hand. The force from the influence was enough to shift the green world's axis, which we reviewed in the cosmology. And Urizen, if y'all want to see a video on him, even it was stated even Hell would have to come together to have a chance against him. He's insanely broken. Spawn 2002, issue 116. Spawn has taken the power of Malebolgia, could use it to cure Cog of death, and could even stop time to momentarily give himself a break from feeling the sins and pain of everyone on the planet. Spawn 2003, issue 126 through 128. Weakened in his new state, he taps into the darkness which compares to the green world itself. He's not as strong as he used to be, but he can still passively change his surroundings with his presence alone. Spawn 2005, issue 146. The exiled angels show Spawn the universe within the countless powers that exist within it. Spawn was then able to one-shot the sphere. This is quite literally a feat of destroying an infinity. Spawn 2005, issue 146. The exiled angels put Spawn through a test to save the girl he cannot let go. He passes the test, and the heaven are shattered as the test concludes. Spawn tanked the panel, literally being destroyed as the exiled angels fly away. Spawn 2006, issues 152 to 153. Spawn is in hell being ripped apart and tortured by Mammon and his minions. Spawn reveals his true nature and releases all the Hellspawn within him. Forcing Mammon to retreat, Spawn then absorbs Hellspawns into him, as they represent different aspects of himself. Spawn 2006, issues 150 through 159. Spawn has to fight the Disciple, who is the first and greatest of Heaven's warriors. In order to fight disciples, he needs Cyan to see him for who he truly is, and this is implied to be the final release on the lock that binds Spawn's true inherent power. Spawn 2006, issue 160. Spawn has to let Disciple win as part of this last test, but he had Disciple, who of course is the strongest of Heaven's warriors, beaten while his power was limited and reducing over time. So this is beating up on the greatest warrior Heaven's ever produced. That's arguably High Outer. Spawn 2006, issue 161. Spawn is thus reborn. God Spawn born from the Tree of Life in the Garden of Eden. Spawn 2006, issue 161. God Spawn hears of the four horsemen and what they've done. Death, famine, pestilence, and war, all taking their effect on the war and the apocalypse. God Spawn casually hunts them down. Spawn 2006, issue 162. Spawn destroys heaven and hell's armies and all life on planet. Spawn 2006, issue 163. After life wiping the planet entirely, all that survived was God, Satan, with the Creator. Spawn asks for them to be restored to their true forms, something he is capable of achieving. Spawn 2006, issue 163. He literally let Satan and God blast the hell out of him because the war is over and they lost everything they worked for, showing Spawn defeated both God and Satan. Spawn 2006, issue 163. Spawn is confirmed beyond the conflict of Satan and God, and an equal to the Creator. In doing so, opens himself up to more power. Spawn gives birth to a new world, one closed off from heaven and hell, as he is its creator. Spawn 2007, issue 164. Spawn, even without his godly powers, can still resist the Creator to an extent, projecting himself as he disobeys the power of the Creator. Spawn 2015, issue 250. Spawn, or Al Simmons as Spawn, resurrection existence literally erased a plague. Like, the fact that him pulling up existence erased this divine plague is absurd. Spawn 2015, issue 254. Spawn has a brief back and forth with Gabriel, high-ranking angel warrior of heaven. They seem to be relative at this point in time. Spawn 2015, issue 259. To demons, he is like their Moses, as a sea of them split so he can pass on his way to face Satan himself. Spawn 2016, issues 261 to 262. Spawn merges the domains of heaven and hell, forcing God and Satan to do battle. God is unaware of what is actually happening and thinks Satan has broken their agreement. Spawn Resurrection 2015 issue 1 and Spawn 2016 262. Spawn betrays Satan and uses his suit, K7 Letha, to destroy Satan, and the sword he got from the Creator he uses to steal hell off from Earth, the same sword that took him from Limbo back to Earth. Spawn 2018 issue 282. Spawn battles a being that rivals or is comparable to Satan, testing his new powers, as it stated anything should be possible, and his shapeshifting has actually reached new heights. Spawn 2019, issue 295. Spawn reveals a new power to resurrect what he kills and controls it, as he resurrected his rogue gallery like puppets, while Anti-Spawn watched and realized Spawn is close to unlocking his true power. Spawn 2019, issue 300. Spawn finally shows that it's never been the suit, it's never been the psychoplasm, it's always been him. Al Simmons, at his essence, is Spawn. Spawn 2019, issue 300. Spawn takes Anti-Spawn beyond the material plane and transforms Anti-Spawn into the Grim Reaper, an agent of life and death which undoes Heaven's control over him. So he can quite literally override the power of Heaven. Spawn 2019, issue 301. Spawn declares he is the king of the dead and resurrects the dead even without his suit on. Spawn 2020, issue 305. Becomes the first Spawn to actually kill a Spawn. Medieval Spawn dies at the hands of Simmons. King Spawn 2022, issue 16. Shows off a very powerful cosmic awareness as he sees the games being played across the layers of creation. Now that we got that out the way, let's get into the final part, his best statements. Now, again, like I prefaced in his feats section, Spawn has plenty of statements over time, and you can see all of them in my server if you purchase access. But in terms of the ones we'll cover the ones I feel are most important. With that in mind, Spawn 1992, issue 1, he is stated to be one of the sexiest men on planet. Read that. Why is that important? For his aura, of course. Spawn 1993, issue 8. Billy sees multiple levels of hell, which of course is outerversal inherently, but still fears the image of Spawn above everything else. Spawn 1993, issue 10. Spawn feels the power of every hero and above all, Superman. His power is nothing compared to this, but still, he managed to contain it all. Spawn 1993, issue 10. Spawn is in purgatory, which turns out to be places characters go when their rights are sold or taken from the creators. This can be interpreted as the realm of ideas and origin for all comics, which Spawn easily accesses. Spawn 1993, issue 10. Cerebus shows Spawn, and I probably butchered the fuck out of that, my bad. Cerebus shows Spawn his home, a place Todd McFarlane created for him and his family. And Cerebus explains that Spawn's true creator, who of course is Todd, is always with him. Before Cerebus leaves, he says 4 is a crowd when only 3 characters are on panel, meaning that the writer, as this sort of narrative protection, is always there with Spawn. Spawn 1994, issues 16 and 18. Spawn is stronger than all the angels of heaven expect him to be, and they have to amplify the anti-Spawn accordingly. Spawn himself shifted the balance of heaven and hell, so much that it caused heaven to resort to near extremes. Spawn 1995, issue 3. The more familiar a situation, the more amplified Spawn technically is. And that's in the 30s, by the way. My bad, I misspoke. Spawn 1996 through 52. Spawn is able to fill voids with belief with his presence alone. It's also stated he is a master of envy. Spawn 1996, issue 53. Malebolgia transformed Spawn into a true agent of death, explaining Spawn will eventually face God himself, and this will lead to Malebolgia's victory in the Great War. Spawn 1999, issue 89. Spawn can touch divine and holy weapons without being affected ever since claiming his independence. He says this to what is in the comic appeared to be Satan at the time. Spawn 2001, issue 106. Simmons had limits. Simmons is dead now, and all that's left is Spawn. Thus, there are no more limits. Spawn 2002, issue 11. Spawn is fighting Violator in Hell and awakens his true power. Hell itself bends to his will, becoming his domain as every function in it serves to amplify his power. Spawn is the king of Hell. Spawn, 2006, issue 157. Within him, Spawn has over 6,000 souls, which is why any Hell Lord struggles to control him. They fail to see he is much more than just Simmons the Hellspawn. Spawn 2006, issue 158. The creator says Spawn is stronger than Malebolgia ever was. Spawn 2006, issue 161. Spawn could have defeated Disciple, but showed mercy. Even Disciple himself knows this. Spawn 2010, issue 200. After the suit was transferred to a new host, it still had the power to reconstruct itself and become the most powerful thing in the universe, with heaven or hell having no chance to stop it. Spawn 2013, issue 233. The K7 Letha says it was created by God and not Malebolgia, a side effect of God's creation more so. Its true goal is to completely take over a host with a living soul, unlike Simmons, who was dead. Spawn 2016, issue 261. Spawn battles Satan, and it's stated if he is left unchecked, he can end all of existence. Spawn 2017, issue 275. Spawn's powers are restored, and it's revealed the suit may have power, but the true power was always within Simmons himself. Spawn 2019, issue 297. Spawn is connected to every Spawn that ever was and ever will be. He's been manipulating everyone since defeating Malebolgia. Learning to control the darkness and accessibility power levels no other Spawn has, he sealed all the gates of hell and heaven, defeated Satan, and returned to power in the human world. King Spawn 2022, issue 17. The layers of creation follow and report on Spawn's actions. Creation revolves around Spawn and what he does at this point, thus bringing the end of our statements. So, with the cosmology, best feats and best statements covered, what can we conclude? Well, as you guys can see, we went over a shit ton of abilities, but we also clearly displayed that Spawn can perform these abilities and these different hacks on outer to high outer levels, not just once or twice, but consistently. Spawn is criminally underrated, as many people I've seen put him at Universal Plus to Multi, when clearly he's not batting in that range. In conclusion from myself, I think it's really easy to argue Spawn is outerversal. You don't even need to use his god forms, and we've even seen after the god form, he's still stupidly powerful, even at times having scaling comparable to the green world. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Did I do a good job? Do you feel like you came away learning how powerful Spawn truly is? I'm curious to see what you think in the comment section down below. I hope this series really takes off because I like doing these detailed breakdowns. And yeah, anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. And remember, it's Yancey Street, bitches.